Yeah, just give me all of the respect. I use your reverence as a reward. They know that I got the power and they looking at me like the source. Take my throne, boy, stop that. I'm on my hill, can't top that. Yeah, take this L, yeah, rock that. You know, I never needed a cosign. Yeah, I'm gon' shine, I rock independent. Representing like I work for the Senate. You double LC, you ain't got no business coming against me. These haters, they acting so friendly. I stay attentive and I'm 10 toes and I'm handing them all the 10 piece. Get it right.
Good morning, Knicks Nation, KOD Universe, stand up, and all you DJs, wake up and get your coffee. Welcome to this Monday, February 22nd, 27th edition of the Knicks Morning Brew. I am your guy, Hector, and I'm chilling with the one and only Phil Illis. Phil, the one and only, fabulous Phil. Good morning, sir.
Phil Illish? Come on, bro. That's Philly Eilish. Philly Eilish.
First of all,
Philly Eilish.
First of all, you screaming at me like a real Gen Z right now, okay, bro? I need you to pull it back, okay? All right, Philly Eilish over here. But Phil, good morning, brother. How you doing, gorgeous?
I only came at you because the other day I did Styles P and then HIL in parentheses, and you said Stylish P. And I was like,
it looks like Stylish P. You know what we need to do before every show? You need to let me know how to pronounce your new nicknames that you come up with, bro, because I can't keep up with it, bro.
Chilling, bro. We just came back from a back-to-back. That was fun.
Yes.
Knicks Twitter and Knicks content creators have, had a blast either celebrating or trash talking our well-playing Knicks. It never ends in Knick fandom, so it's a lot of fun. It's always a good time coming back up here with you, and Jigga's in back cooking up some goodies. He'll be here later. So that's always fun, and this week we got some like stars that we consider stars in content creation, because they are hard workers. They are people that we enjoy their content, and when good content can support good content, that's always a win in my opinion. I'm looking forward to this week big time, bro.
Especially today's guest, right? Just backstage when we was talking and everything like that, my man Ebru, when I first started off as a content creator, one of the first guys that I've ever interacted with, and it's always been a mutual respect kind of thing. I may sound like a broken record, but every time me and my guy links up, I got to bring it up. But before I bring up Ebru, I got a little nice gift for you, Phil. You want to see? I got a nice little gift for you in the chat. Let's see from the last game. Oh, okay. I got the towel from the 50th anniversary. Shout out to my mother-in-law. Shout out to my girl's mother, because she was actually at the game with her company. They had like a nice little suite. I was trying to sneak in, but security stopped me at the door, bro. They didn't let me in. I didn't have the flashy pass to be down with the rich people in the suites, bro. But let me bring our guests up.
That your Knicks Morning Brew? You didn't
I tried to, but at the same time, I didn't want them to take a sticker and put it outside of the garden. Do not let this man in. You remember those from back in the days from the supermarkets?
Yes.
But I'll let you introduce our guest, Phil. Philly Eilish, introduce our boy coming in.
Yeah, so when you're constantly on Twitter, you get a lot of people that, either are dead set on only supporting their little crew, and then you got the people that'll follow everybody, and then you got the people that like will follow people based off of good content, and so I try to be that middle ground, like I'm thankful for all that follow, but we try to follow the people that we know are creating good content to create good content, not to just make a business out of fandom. And so when I started following, Eru stuff and seeing him kind of like some of our stuff, and I went over to the YouTube and I was like, yo, this guy's got good content, and he's not one of those guys that you kind of feel like you have to mute at times on Twitter, where it's just like, bro, calm it down, brother. Pull it back, like chill. So if you want good content and you're not following Eru, then you need to. He'll make sure to drop his link in the description a little bit later on in the show. But with no further ado, we want to bring up Eru. What up, brother?
What it do, baby?
It's good, guys, man. Definitely good to hear your voice. Nice to meet Phil. I know me and Hector, man. It's been a long time coming, man. You came on my show once, and I'm on your show, so definitely showing the love here for you guys.
Yeah, full circle. Eru has a friend. I remember that segment. And it was a dope segment, bro. And yeah, glad to have you over here on our channel. For those people in the chat, let's do a roll call real quick before we start the conversation. Our guy Sunil is in the chat. Sunil, good morning, my friend. Hope all is well. Eric Wallace is in the building. EY, even though deep down he's a diehard Seattle Supersonic fan, he has love for the Knicks, right? Infamous New King is in the building. The one and only Delano Still Jr. is in the building. The top moderator of all the moderators. SK the Smoking Nick, my man SK, what it do? Foxy, my uncle, Pots and Pans is in the building, and the one and only 19 Con Man. But yeah, bro, Eru, appreciate you. Like Phil said, whenever you get a second, or I'll go to your channel right now and I'll drop it in the chat right now, just so people could know where to follow you at. But Eru, bro, take it away, Phil. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we've got a lot that we can talk about right now. We're in Knick fandom. If you look at things, we are better than we have been in a long time. Like Eru, I'm guessing you've been doing this for a hot minute. So like me, like Jigga, like Heck, you've endured the pain of being a New York Knicks fan, where you can get your hopes up, and then it all of a sudden feels like it's kind of like when you're young and in school and you get something that you really wanted, whether it was like a pair of sneakers or a jacket or something like that, and you get excited to wear it, but you're also just like, dang, if I'm walking down that one street today, I don't know if I'm going to keep that. That's kind of how it feels for New York Knicks fandom. We've had jackets, we've had hats, we've had sneakers we've been proud of, and then it's like all of a sudden we're getting beat down behind the school, lunch yard, and we no longer have that anymore. And it feels like that Knicks fandom. But right now, it feels like we have a lot to celebrate. If you look at Knicks Twitter, some people will preach till they're blue in the face that we still have absolutely nothing to celebrate. But here, we think we have something to celebrate. So what do you think of the current state of what you're seeing from our New York Knicks right now?
Well, first of all, I'm always an advocate of wearing the gear. I wear the gear all day long. If we lose in the last 20 years when we were losing, I was wearing it every single day. And I dare somebody say something to me, because I'm always been a diehard Knicks fan, even before the podcast and stuff like that. So if anybody had something to say about the Knicks, I'll always be there, to give my little 2 cents and stuff like that. And then they don't want to hear it because they see that I'm coming from a knowledgeable standpoint. So this guy knows. Let me leave this guy alone, So I always kept that energy. But as far as now, I try not to, we're older too. I'm a little bit older, so I've been through being fans of certain players and that type of thing. So now I'm not really, I fall back a little bit. I'm not really a fan of the players. I'm just still really hardcore with the team. So I'm just looking at it as like a fist kind of, in order to make the fist strong, you got to get all the different pieces, together. And I feel like the Knicks, very, gradually and methodically, they've been putting their little pieces together. So I think now that fist is starting to get really strong. So now in order to really snap it and get that championship that we want to get, we have to build up the other fibers too. So I think that's where we're at that stage where we're trying to get the fibers and stuff going. So, just to, bring the boxing thing, that just gets my juices flowing, man. I love the Knicks so much. So just to actually, my energy matches what's happening on the court. It's just a beautiful time right now to be a Knicks fan.
Yeah, 100%. And Phil, it's hilarious. Great take, Eru. But sometimes people they'll let it be known what media they grew up watching, right? And I love having conversations with my guy State of the New York Knicks podcast. But Eru right now saying that whole 5-finger analogy to make a fist and everything, that goes to show you that he either grew up watching either anime or he grew up watching old school karate flicks, right? So sometimes it will just leak out to let you know how they grew up watching media. But no, 100%, Eru, you hit it right on the head, and especially Phil when he brought up the topic when it is to be a Knicks fan, right? Especially you work MTA and stuff like that. I worked EMS for years and stuff. You'll have people who are quote unquote NBA experts that would try to belittle you as a Knicks fan because you follow the Knicks. And then it's like constantly trying to fight off hyenas, trying to fight them back because you are a Knicks fan and you have to defend your team. But like you said, we are diehard Knicks fans and stuff. Been rocking with this team ever since we was young back in the days. So I'm going to go down with the ship. And right now, where we are at right now, this past 3-year stretch, I understand people are up and down about Tom Thibodeau, but over the past 20 years, this past 3-year stretch has been the best 3-year stretch that this franchise have seen. I understand Carmelo Anthony and the 50-win season. That was awesome, but that wasn't over a 3-year stretch. That was one season, and you saw what happened afterwards. So you can see the level of consistency that's coming out right now from this team. I want to shout out Pamela Williams is in the chat. Pamela Williams, good morning. Hope all is well. Salute, salute, salute. But go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, so speaking of celebrating, obviously we have the team right now, but I thought it was so great to be able to witness the 50th anniversary celebration the other day. Obviously, you're so connected to Knicks content creators that you definitely had some people that had some like big questions that I was just like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. One question was like, why the heck was Amari Stoudemire introduced as like New York royalty with the guys that are up there when he played like half a season of quality for us, and that was it. It was like, yeah, it was kind of true. You look at some of the other players that weren't brought up, as Knicks celebrity fandom.
You better be glad that it was just Amari Stoudemire and they ain't gonna get Lynn Sanity to bring Lynn Sanity up there. Because if they would have brought Jeremy Lin up there, that's when I would have turned off my TV, Phil.
If they would have brought
Phil didn't pop up. Phil Jackson. I'm glad they didn't invite Phil Jackson. That would have burned the house down.
Bro. You saw when they were showing his highlight, when they brought his picture up and then you heard the boos when people were booing him when they saw that. So they knew not to bring Phil Jackson.
Yeah. If they brought Noah with his giant contract that we just got rid of, and now Noah, that would have been great. Would have loved that. Him and Derrick Rose just bonding in the center of the court. I love it. But yeah, that was a cool experience. So like I wanted to like touch base on that a little bit because I think we forget that there are teams that have never won anything. It has been a long time for us, but we have had teams in the NBA that have never experienced something like this, and to be able to have someone like, Clyde actually still be with the organization and still be, as plugged in with the organization as he is, shows that there's something right there. When I met him the other day, when I was at the Orlando Magic game in Orlando, like just seeing the actual joy that guy has being part of like the Knicks franchise, that's contagious. You see that kind of thing and you're just like, it's not just for TV, like this guy just walking around like ear to ear, just smiling, enjoying himself. So there's something good in the midst of all the things that are bad when it comes to the business, and I think that's one thing is that we can have such pride being Knicks fans, and it's because of moments like that. So what were your guys' thoughts on like the 50th anniversary and like just looking back on that? Because obviously 72, 73, I was negative 10 years old. But being able to watch the highlights once I was born and being able to kind of like look at all that has always refueled my fire as a Knicks fan.
Well, I just got to give Hector some props to me. Hector always got the nice sharp bars, man. Like razor sharp bars. With the Melo season, it really was only really one season where they really got busy that one year, and then we was basically like the same thing that happened last year with the Knicks that happened the year after that 50-win season with Melo. So
yeah,
people forget they got a short memory. So now that I say that, I'm just trying to transition to the 50th anniversary. It just puts in perspective how hard it is to win the championship in professional sports. Because there's 30 teams. Now there's 30 teams. At the time, there weren't 30, but now there's 30 teams. So not every team can't win the championship. So you're talking about if a team won a championship every year, a different team won every year, that's 30 years. To put that in perspective. So, 50 years, it seems like a long time, but the guy's still living. You can see like Phil was saying, the energy that he talked with, especially when he was on the mic, he was spitting bars too. And you can see the confidence that he had. Listen, we played with a certain certain swag, certain kind of energy, with the defense, and then he gave props to the fans. He made sure to shoot down Wilt Chamberlain, and Jerry West and all those guys that they played against, just to remind you, the tower, how, the powers that he had to defeat in order to get these championships. So, it just puts everything into perspective. And I think it's a great thing that all the other Knicks were there, because it's almost like the Avengers. You got the main team, with Clyde's team, that's the Avengers. Then you got the other guys in the background that fill in from time to time. So all this is important. The once a Knick, always a Knick. I love that, because no other team has it. They try to copy us, but nobody has that. And I just think that, just from us being fans and stuff like that. Like I was saying, I always wear my gear, 24 hours a day. Since I've been a kid, I always wore my Knicks stuff, no matter if we're winning or losing. So I mean, that's the camaraderie that we have as fans. And then now the franchise is picking up on that energy too, man. So I just think this is like all smoldering together to get us to where we need to go. And hopefully that's another championship, pretty soon.
Yeah, everything you said hit it right on the head. The love that we have for our team, it reminds me, have you ever seen the movie 42, the Jackie Robinson movie that came out years ago? But one thing about the Brooklyn Dodgers, that if you were a Dodger fan, that was our bums, right? Only Brooklyn Dodgers fans could call their team the Brooklyn Bums. You don't come into Brooklyn calling the Dodgers bums, because that's not your bums. And that's the same relationship with the New York Knicks, right? Yes, our team may have turmoil. We may have this horrible owner, James Dolan, but you don't come in my house saying that, because I would defend James Dolan. I would defend this organization, no matter what type of love-hate relationship I have with the Knicks at the moment. I will still defend them. It's just like that one family member or that one friend that we all have that we know is a knucklehead, but you don't call my cousin or my family member a knucklehead. Only I can do that, and I will defend that person to the day that I die. And that's the relationship we have with the Knicks. I'm gonna just do a quick shout out real quick to the chat before bringing up this next little slide. But Julian Blum is in the building. My man Julian, what it do? Jacob Petruzzi is in the building. Jacob, I see you. TC Stills, good morning. Hashtag Brew Crew is in the building. Absolutely. But yeah, so New York Knicks against the New Orleans Pelicans, 128-106. It felt like a 50-point whipping that we put on the Pelicans, but it was less than that. But it was obviously from the time the game started to the time the game ended, the Knicks had the lead for that entire game. And it was good to see Tom Thibodeau actually listening to the fans and putting Derrick Rose in the game and actually allowing the bench to play with less than 4 minutes in the game. He didn't wait to the last 2 minutes to put the bench in. He put the bench in with 4 minutes left to go. I understand the bar is on the ground when it comes to Tom Thibodeau, but it kind of seems like the old dog is learning new tricks. I'm going to throw it over to you, Ebru. What's your thoughts on this last game against the Pelicans? And do you think Tom Thibodeau may be learning a few little new tricks right there from the young kids he got around him? You shaking your head no already.
So I'm just shaking my head because Tom Thibodeau listens to our podcast, man. Let me tell you that he listens to you. He listens to all of us. So he hears us, and we're for the most part, I'm going to say we're about 80% in agreement of all the channels. We're basically in agreement with the same type of thing. So he's taking that into consideration, I think, because sometimes like I'll see something that you would say, or or something that Phil would say in the video, or something that anybody would say, and then like the next game he does it. I was like, listen, this guy is watching, or something that I would say, and I would say there's no way that he's listening to me on the thing, but he's got to be listening to us, man. So I think he's really following us and just trying to as a coach, you're trying to pull from different places, trying to be that psychiatrist, trying to figure out how to work your team, figure out how to get an edge on the other team. What am I doing wrong? So once you're having those little turmoils and stuff like that, you start looking for things, like if you're going through something in life, you look for books and stuff to give you information, or hit up your boy, throw something at them, see what they think, that type of thing. So I really think that that's what he's doing with the squad stuff, man. So also too, Josh Hart helps out a lot too, man. Having that extra voice in the locker room too, to help out. So, I think we're brewing something here. Knicks morning brew. I think the Knicks are brewing something here with this group, man. I wish we could have gotten one more guy, I think. But I think the slow brew is probably like the best brew, I think,
Facts. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, so in watching that game, there was a few things that like really stuck out to me. And it was the fact that we really started to see a gelling of our team. Like there would be so many times early in the season that a certain player would come out and all of a sudden the chemistry wasn't there because it was only that person working with the other person that really worked. But now you're starting to see no matter what rotation comes in, they're finding a way to play with each other and actually be able to like pull it off. And so it was actually impressive basketball because a lot of times, I will say for the first time in a long time, I haven't worried about us losing the lead that we had in the first half coming into the third. I wasn't panicked at all. I was just like, oh, this is it. Like, we got this. There's no more third quarter of doom. Like, when was the last time we had to say third quarter of doom on the show?
Don't jinx it.
So yeah, well, sorry. So that was like a huge thing. Second thing that really made me go, holy crap, is as I'm looking at Zion Wilson looking like a linebacker in his like Surge soda colored sweater on the sidelines, I started to think about how like Knick fans who are still complaining about how RJ is a bust at number 3 need to realize that Zion Williamson has played 114 games in his whole career. Like, you want to talk about top 3 being a bust, it's going to be the guy who has not played like a full season since he's been in the league. Like, there's been 2 seasons that he's played 20-something games. Like, so I'm going to take my roller coaster experience of RJ Barrett over neon green sweater sideline cheerleader in Zion Williamson. And then the third thing was boom, Derrick freaking Rose. Like, that was, for me, awesome, because right before in a Twitter space with our guy Smitty, we were talking about like, fandom and how like sometimes you jump the gun and you buy a jersey and then it's like a big regret because that player either never gets to see the court or anything. And someone was like, I almost bought a D Rose jersey when he came back to the team. And I was like, I bought the D Rose jersey when he came back to the team. And so seeing him come into that game, for me, that was awesome, even though like obviously he didn't play well, but like seeing the team support him the way that he has been supporting the team, like Julius Randle on his feet with his towel, like waving for the fans to continue the Derrick Rose chants. And the fact that Thibodeau actually put him in, that buys probably 1.5 episodes of this show where I will not say fire Tom Thibodeau. Like, that gives him 1.5 episodes. So salute to Tom Thibodeau. Great job on that. But yeah, I thought it was a great game to watch and something to really look forward to in the future because Zion's on the bench, but Brandon Ingram is a baller. Like, and the fact that Julius Randle had him in prison in that game, like,
locked him up,
crazy. Chained him up, threw away the key, and just kind of laughed about it. Like, it was impressive.
For me, it was seeing the overall team defense. Like, you just brought it up, Julius Randle locking up Brandon Ingram, but also, you talked about RJ Barrett, but this is the type of games we need from RJ Barrett. His efficiency, this is what we wanted. 8 for 13 from the field. His defense tremendously was an improvement. I can go out on a limb and say that the last game against the Pelicans was RJ Barrett's best game defensively and efficiently this entire season, right? Because when you look at what he shot from the field, when you look at his turnovers, when you look at he was also becoming a playmaker, right? Jalen Brunson, these 2 games coming out of the All-Star break, he hasn't scored like he was scoring before. But that opens it up because now teams are changing their defense to focus in on Jalen Brunson. So they're giving Jalen Brunson that double team, that triple team. That opens up the space for Julius Randle to operate one-on-one and kill it. That opens up the space for RJ Barrett to do what he's doing. That allows Quentin Grimes to be that sleeper threat on the 3-point line to finally start knocking down some shots. And on top of it, we got to start talking about Emmanuel Quickley in the conversation for the 6th man of the year. Emmanuel Quickley definitely has to be. I know Malcolm Brogdon, he's done an amazing job over there in Boston coming off of the bench. But what IQ has done coming off of the bench, not just offensively, but defensively as well. You could tell the Jalen Brunson effect has worked on IQ because IQ on the defensive side of things, he's calling things out for his teammates. He's calling schemes out. He's letting people know, hey, your man's cutting right below you. Hey, you're missing an assignment. Hey, go help out. He's doing that. He's being that extra voice, that extension for the coach on the court. And that's all we can ask from IQ. And IQ definitely needs to be in the conversation for the 6th man of the year. Damn, I'm gonna drop a dab on him real quick.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And he's sacrificing his body too. How many times did he throw himself in there to get rebounds and stuff like that? He's excellent. Definitely an anchor. When you talk about building a tent, one of those spikes in the ground, he's definitely one of those spikes in the ground that we rely on to keep this thing going, man. So,
and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw the stat earlier this morning while getting ready for the show. I think the Knicks, when IQ is on the court, they are a plus 13 defensively. While that unit is out there with Emmanuel Quickly, right? So Emmanuel Quickly, the way that you remember when we drafted Emmanuel Quickly and they gave him that D plus grading on the draft that night? Yeah, you could switch that around, because Emmanuel Quickly has finally turned into the baller that we all thought he could be, if not even better.
Yeah, when he retires, man, they need to make a T-shirt and put it on a T-shirt for him when he's standing out with his little green jacket, blazer, or whatever. Have that T-shirt right underneath the blazer.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Yo, shout out to our guy, the Nick Recap on Twitter. He's constantly like, I don't know what this guy does for a day job, but he straight up is always creating crazy graphics all day, every day. So I think he's just getting a paycheck from the other place and just doing Nick content all day while he's working. But he created this one, and I was dying. I was cracking up because I love this movie, and watching those two together just fit perfectly. So shout out to Nick Recap. But yeah, I think Quick definitely needs to be Sixth Man of the Year, because when I think of it, I don't really know anybody else that has really made as big of an impact for their team as Emmanuel Quickly has. Because in the first, in the beginning of the season, we were just like, dang, he's got lockdown defense, but it looks like he lost himself as the offensive player. And as soon as we all thought that, we saw a dramatic change in his game. And he must have been listening to Knicks Twitter and Knicks content creators, because he put it back on. And since then, he's been unstoppable. He could start on pretty much 90% of NBA teams, including ours, and still be, a foundational piece for a team. So I don't know anyone that can compare to him when it comes to Sixth Man of the Year, to be honest.
Yeah, I want to bring up the standings real quick, and I'm gonna throw it over to Eru. When you look at the stretch that we have, 20 games left in the season. We got the next 4 games coming up. We got Boston tonight, then we got Brooklyn, Miami, and then Boston again. Well, I just want to know, what do you think are going to be the key points for this team going down the stretch, and what seed do you think the Knicks can actually get when the season is all said and done? I'm bringing up the standings right now as they are.
Well, I went to that Wizards game. I was at the Wizards game down in DC and stuff. So,
okay,
shout out to Sim. The Knicks was all down there. So the one thing that we talked about is this statement games. It's only like 20 something games left in the season, and we've been playing so well. So people are on the fence. They don't want to jump on the bandwagon yet. The only person that's done that is maybe like Kendrick Perkins. Out of all people. So bandwagon stuff. We have to show against Atlanta. Excuse me, not even Atlanta. Even to just started at the beginning of this winning streak against Utah. You're going on over there, taking care of business away. Playing against a team that's been playing so well over there on the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? That was a statement game. Taking care of Brooklyn. The crosstown rivalry. F. Trey Young, that whole thing, taking care of business over there, embarrassing them, actually, fired their coach and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
First game back against the Wizards, we go over there. That Wizards team think they could beat us. So we went over there in their house and destroyed them twice now. So now the Pelicans is another team that they got a little bounce. They got a couple young guys over there. They got Brandon Ingram. They got what's his name? CJ McCollum. These guys are real basketball players. They've won in this league and stuff. And this team has been successful for the most part on this year too, aside from injuries and stuff. So I mean, we just have to show up to these arenas and let these people know that we mean business. Enough is enough with the like you were saying, the mid stuff. It's time to graduate from that mid stuff, like Phil was saying in the video that you guys posted. We got to graduate from the mid stuff and really like stop being afraid to cheer for your team. Because I mean, when it comes down to it, none of this stuff is real. This is all fun. We're having so much fun doing this. This is like a pastime. Of course, we would like to make money of it, but we're doing this really because we freaking love it. So if you love it, why are you afraid to get out there and let it hang out, for your team and stuff like that, just to get away from your life and stuff, so I mean, this Boston game, the Nets, the Heat, the Boston again, then we play Charlotte, these next games here are all basically like rivalry games, because Charlotte think they could beat us, Boston already X'd us out thinking that they could beat us, Miami, we have a little rivalry, so we got rivalry with all these guys. So now it's time to let this league know that we are really here. You know, that this is not a joke. You know, that what we're doing. You know, we had lost 5 games. Early in the season. I want to say when was that? We lost that 5th game. I think December 29th. And then from that point on, December 29th, December 31st was the next game. We're 17 I think, and 9 during that stretch. You know, so we have to let this league know that we're here. We're here for real. This is not like a fluke. This is what we're here to do, with letting everybody know that the Knicks are for real. You know?
Yeah. When you bring up Atlanta, I'll throw it over to Phil right after this quick point. When you bring up Atlanta, you got to think of it. This is the second coach that Tom Thibodeau got fired. If you think about it, the first year when we was the 4th seed, we went against Atlanta during the season, destroyed them, blew the gates off of them, blew the doors off of the house. They fired the coach. They got Nate McMillan. This past game against Atlanta, same thing. Disrespected them, embarrassed them right before the All-Star break, and they fired their coach. So when it comes to Tom Thibodeau, I know a lot of fans, they got a love-hate relationship with Tom Thibodeau. Look at the progress, from year 1 till now. Growth. You talk about accountability and Tibbs not holding people accountable. He, from the beginning of the season to now, a total 180 flip when it comes to Tom Thibodeau from that. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah. Moving forward for the rest of the season, I think we just need to make sure that we don't let our foot off the gas, because with the momentum we have right now, if Julius Randle plays the way that Julius Randle has been playing for like the last month, there are not many people in this league that can defend that guy. Like, you just can't. Like, he is the kind of guy that if he gets the right shot in the paint or he starts feeling it from the 3, there's not really much you can do to stop him. Like, you can just only hope to contain him when he's playing this way, And so if we keep that kind of momentum going with the heart that Josh Hart has brought out there to the team, and we keep the defense, that's always been our big thing. If you look offensively, we've been good, pretty good offensively throughout the year. Where we've struggled is stopping teams. Like, when we keep them under a certain number of points, we always win. Why? Because our offense is good enough to do that. Now we're starting to see our defense be good enough to do that. And that's what we need to continue to see, because looking at the rest of the schedule, like, yes, Boston's a really good team. They don't have Jaylen Brown tonight. Like, it is what it is. He's gone for personal reasons. That helps us because he always does play pretty decent against us. But moving forward, there's not really many teams that I'm worried about us playing in the rest of the season. Like, the Clippers are playing well. There's a little fire behind the Clippers, but I still think that, like, if our defense is up to par, then we can compete with them. The Lakers really have something to prove right now. So we got to, just do what we have to do to kind of shut that down. Dame just went for 71 points, so we got to figure out how to shut that down a little bit. And Cam Reddish is going to want to have like a revenge game against Tom Thibodeau. So we'll see how that goes on March 14th. But after that, the only game that's going to be real competition, in my opinion, is the Nuggets game. So that's 4 games out of our next games that I'm like, all right, we really need to step it up. But if we played the way we played these last 2 games, the rest of the season, besides those 4 games, they don't make me worry. Like, I think the team that we have can compete with mostly anybody, especially in the East. Boston and Milwaukee are the only 2 teams that I'm like, man, those guys are going to be hard for us. But everybody else, I think we hold our own. And shout out to Trae Young. That's my boy right there, because he knocked the Brooklyn Nets down another peg last night. So all we need is this win tonight to be the 5th seed. So props, Trae Young. Appreciate you, brother.
Hey, thank you, Trae Young.
Love you, Trae. Love you.
When you bring up the playoffs, right? When you look at the top teams that are in the East, I'm gonna bring up the standings once again. Hold on, let me just fix it real quick. When you look at the standings, right? Out of those teams that are there, the only team that I'm like in a 7-game series that I'm scared about is Boston, right? Over the past 3 seasons since Tom Thibodeau has been our head coach, one of the only teams in the East or the West that we've been able to handle, whether it be a top seed, is Milwaukee, right? Milwaukee has been one of the teams under Tom Thibodeau that we've been able to upset over these past 3 seasons, right? Philadelphia, we took a game against Philadelphia this season. They embarrassed us on Christmas. I understand. But Cleveland, I'm not scared against Cleveland in the 7-game series, right? I'm definitely not scared. And the perfect storybook would be if the Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers with Donovan Mitchell meet in the first round of the playoffs. That's the perfect scenario. That's the perfect storybook ending to the season. The guy that everybody thought was going to be a New York Knicks now has to face the New York Knicks in the first round of the playoffs. Who could have wrote up a better story than that, the baby? Oh, Jiggaman's in the
What up, man? You know I wasn't gonna make sure I didn't have time if Eru was here. What up, Eru? My guy was good.
I'm telling you, what's up?
Yo, I came in right when I heard the last take there, Heck, and it scares me when we say things like this. And you, being a Yankees fan, should understand where I'm coming from, right? When we sit there and we were begging to have the Astros, how'd that work out? Right. So I feel like, yeah, we want that storyline, right? We want that Cavs. Let's go up against Donovan. But it will hurt. It will hurt if they knock us out, right? So I'm not begging to face anybody specifically. I'm hoping to just see what we saw this weekend because, man, the biggest thing to me was the excitement that the guys had. The way they were smiling, cheering with each other. I mean, come on, even IQ with the off the backboard, the Julius, right? Like we're having fun. But even the D Rose thing, we were still clapping and he missed every shot when he came in the game, right? Like it was just fun. And that atmosphere, like Eru was talking about, it's okay to like our team, people. Just because in the beginning of the season you were pissed off, you are allowed to change your mind and enjoy the ride. And I feel like right now, this is the best basketball we've seen in years as far as entertainment, excitement, and seeing us gel as a team. I'm all for it. And, bro, that 50th was, what's up? What up? Look at that clock. What up? What up, Will?
Yeah.
Oh, you got a towel, bro?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to my mother-in-law. She was at the game with her fancy-ass company. Go ahead, Phil.
So here's the one thing. I'm gonna give my boy Edge from Twitter Space, mad props because he was like, we're not mid anymore. Like, we are good. Like, and so I see people still saying we're mid. And I'm like, if you look at what the definition of mid is, that's middle tier team. If you look, we are no longer at middle tier. Like, we are in the 6th, about to be in the 5th spot of our, Eastern Conference out of 15 teams. We're not mid. Like, we're not 7-8. We're not mid. We're not mid anymore. We can't say that. We can't be in the top 33% of our division and still call ourselves mid. And if you look at the other conference, we are doing better than the other conference because the Mavericks are 32-30. So their conference in the same position have less wins than we do in our division. So we have to give credit to where credit is due. We are making the improvements out of mid. Do I think that means, we're going to the chip, we're going to win it? No, I still think there's still more to see. But to get stuck on something and go, yeah, the proof's in the pudding, but I'm still not going to believe it, I just can't rock with that yet, So when it comes to the playoffs, I know people still think that the 76ers are a huge threat. They don't worry me. Both Embiid and Harden have fallen apart in the playoffs time and time again. So that doesn't necessarily worry me. I think our team is going the right way. And Delano, you're right, brother. You're right. As a kid, I was the one that would cut the cheese and blame it on my brother. So it is what it is.
Definitely. Eva, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on this conversation about are the Knicks still mid? I understand, the meme that was running around Twitter Spaces at the beginning of the season was the mid 3. Everybody kept calling RJ, Jalen, and Julius the mid 3. But what's your take on this stance right now when it comes to the Knicks? Because I agree with you, Phil. We aren't mid. We are actually trending upwards, not trending backwards, right? The addition of Josh Hart tremendously. I would have never thought that Josh Hart I don't know if we're playing NBA 2K. I don't know what type of badges this man has, but he has certain badges that make not only himself better, but his teammates better. So, Evu, I want to get your take on the conversation on all the Knicks mid. What is your thoughts on it, brother?
Well, and when they first gave us that name, I'm a big thing where if something is happening, you got to call it out for what it is. So at the time we were mid, we were trying to figure ourselves out. I would go as far as to say that we were trying to gel. because nobody ever talked about that. We added some new players. There's a new different style. We have a point guard. We haven't had a point guard like this in so long. So there's a lot of things that we had to get used to. IQ had to get used to his role. We had to figure out if he was going to start for us or come off the bench. All these different things, man. So since if it was true then that we're mid, then now since that we're not, then we need to talk accordingly as well. As far as like the records and such like that, if you look at the entire league as a whole, the Knicks are in 9th place right now in the entire league. So by definition, we're not mid. We're the top third of the league right now. So we're entitled to talk our talk the way that we feel that we need to talk it. Because if you're gonna, that's another thing too. I get so pissed off on my channel when I give all these crazy takes and stuff. Because people they love to speak negatively, put negative stuff out there and expect positive to come out. If there's something good happening, then you need to put positivity into the world. Shout out to State. Everybody's takes are like right there where State is. Like the State is always on that negative stuff, but State wants positivity to happen from negative. And then a lot of times he'll get to the point where he's blasting this negative stuff, but then he'll retract and bring the positive back up. But you can't expect positivity with negativity. That's what me and him used to battle on my channel all the time with that. But that's one thing I just got to get. I wish that people will understand that. And also too, like against other teams, they say Boston, Philly. You guys have different opinions on it. But I'm not really afraid of any of these teams either, because there's a formula to it. Like every time that we beaten Philly, we beat them the same way. Either they were unhealthy or whatever, or we just locked up their players. Like Embiid has a certain spot where he gets the ball right at the foul line. Harden, if we could stop Harden from just flying down the court and just getting these open threes, then we can compete with them. Same thing with Boston. If we could stop them from shooting those threes, then I don't really care about Tatum's ability to go one-on-one. I don't care about Jaylen Brown's ability to go one-on-one. As long as we lock it down that 3-point line, we should be able to beat them. So this is not like something that I'm just coming out the top of my head. This is the truth. So if this is the truth, you need to speak the truth into existence, because it is what it is. So that I gotta maintain that, man. That's my opinion about the record, the mid-3 and stuff like that. We have to talk it. If it was bad at one point, now it's good. We need to talk it. Walk it like we talk it.
Well, my opinion is, and I want to get you guys' take on. I'll throw it over to Jigga afterwards. When it comes to the Knicks, what separates the Knicks from the other teams, and what may give the Knicks a slight advantage, is our bench. Right on top of our bench is our defense. Right, our defense. You could put it up there, one of the top 3 defenses in the league. But when you look at the record, our team, we are 25-1 when we hold opponents to less than 110 points per game. 25-1. That goes to show you that when we are clicking defensively, when everybody's clicking from the defensive side of things, that's when we play better basketball, right? So when Julius Randle starts the game on fire, I think he's leading the NBA when it comes to points and attempts in the first quarter. When he comes off starting the way he starts off on fire, like he did against the Pelicans, that just makes the game so much easier. It allows the bench unit to come in, play their defense, have that intensity. Even when we was losing the first game coming back out of the break, right? We all thought, well, here we go again. That third quarter. Julius Randle stepped up and showed out, and that entire team clicked in, locked in defensively, and that's how we won that game. Another game where we held the team under 110 points, even though we were down by like 15 or 17 in the second or third quarter to that point, right? So defensively, as long as we can lock in as a unit, I think we'll be fine. Go ahead, Jigga.
Yeah, I see more people in the chat. Shout out to
Tony Crow, Knicks and Bruisers. What it do, Tony? Hope all is well, my guy.
Look, I mean, let's be real. We can go back and look at the first half of the season, and there wasn't many games that we got blown out. Am I wrong? I mean, what, maybe 2, like really blown out games all season? Outside of that, we were in most games. I still believe most games that we lost, we beat ourselves. Our defense, where we are right now compared to the beginning of the season, we knew if they just had an extra pass, any team we were against, they were going to hit that 3. We had no perimeter defense, and it was a wrap. We were able then to pull. I mean, guys, how long was Mitch out? And we were still able to have the run that we had without Mitch, and now we got Mitch back healthy. Like, we are hitting our stride, right? Even you said it. That beginning half, we were looking for that gelling. We were looking for that chemistry. We didn't see it. The team even didn't see it. Look at the interviews now compared to the interviews just a month ago. When we were interviewing our guys, they're like, I don't know. Don't ask me, ask the coach. I don't know. Don't talk to me, talk to him. Now you talk about, oh, we a team. We love each other. We high five. Hey, we just had a group hug. Right. So we are in such a different place right now than we were. So, yes, we need to move on from the mid conversation. Update your takes, not in a bad way. Just make sure when you're doing these takes, it's based on the situation right now, not just the narrative you want to push. Because, guys, we are not mid. We are a team that's performing. We are gelling, and it can only get better from here. That's my biggest take on it. Our defense is looking solid. Before we were hoping, right? Oh, we need Jalen to be the guy. It's all on Jalen. Oh, it's just Julius needs to do it. It's just now we're like, yo, we've got multiple guys dropping 20+ points. What was the stat the other day?
All three of them scored over 20 points.
There it is. Right?
All
so,
three
I mean, like,
scored over 20 points.
We are gelling. Heck, you said it, man. We hold teams under 110 points. 25-1. Yo, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And the other piece was we needed to see a shift in that home court advantage. And now we see that. We're back in the positive with the wins at home. Now I feel confident when we're playing at home that it is home court advantage. Because come on, guys, for a while there, it felt like I'd rather play away than I wanted to be at the Garden.
Yeah. And this is the first time since I want to say the 96 or the 97 Knicks team that we have 3 scorers averaging 20 points per game. This is the first time since the 90s that happened.
Yo, like, for real, as a Knicks fan, like, for real, like, forget all the narratives, forget everything. I'm even going to take the graphic off the screen. Look, big box. That's when you know it's a serious moment, all right? How can you not be a little bit, even if you're the most angriest person in the world, if you're an angry troll under a rock, how could you not at least have a little bit of joy being a Knicks fan right now? I'm sorry. It's crazy. You can't call yourself a fan if you're not a little bit happy. Facts. Go ahead, Philly Eilish. Nailed
it. Yeah, you know, it's one of those things. To Jigga's point, yes, we can go down from here, but I don't think we will. And that's what I'm excited about, you know, is that I really feel like this team has shown that even when certain players have roller coaster games back and forth, typically that would be where the foundation would fall out from under us and we would completely crash. But being able to see that other guys on the team are able to see, hey, this is not going to be so-and-so's game. Let's up it on our end and find a way to still win like Julius did the other day. Like, that gives us the flexibility to not like put all of our eggs in one basket. And I think that's kind of a cool thing that I've seen about our team is, yes, a lot of people will have that 1 or 2 like superstar players that they're like, all right, this guy all the time, you know, and we don't necessarily have that. But I think that might be a good thing because when that player crumbles or has multiple back-to-back games where they're not performing, that team suffers completely. Now we have even to the bench where we have guys like Hart that can come up on games like that and find a way to score 20 points, and we're back in the game. And so I think that this is a cool thing that we're seeing with our roster. And the one thing we were all worried about was like, how long is it going to take to see Big Money Mitch get back into like comfortability with the lineup? How long is it going to take for him to actually be productive again? And he came out the gate swinging. Like, he came out ready to ball, like, after that long time out. And in both those games, he has been a difference maker for us. So I think I think right now, the only team that can stop us is ourselves. Like, straight up.
Yes.
Like, if we do not play the way we did the last 2 games, then it is what it is. That's on us. But the only way I want to see us lose is if that we played the way that we played these last 2 games, and yet the other team still found a way to take the victory. That's how I want to see us lose if we're going to lose. Because what I saw the other night leaves me as a fan happy either way. With a win or a loss, I can celebrate what I saw from the team these last 2 games. So as long as I see that moving forward, I'm content.
Fact.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yo,
Yeah.
you guys mind if I switch it up real quick? Because I wanted to talk about it while Eru was here.
Yeah, go ahead. Throw to Eru.
We got a short stop today, or a hard stop at 12 today. Eru, I wanted your take, man. Like, right now where we're at on the season, who has been the biggest difference maker for you in your eyes? Because I feel like just a couple of weeks ago, we could really just pinpoint maybe one person, but I feel like now we've got multiple choices, right? From IQ as the sixth man and what Brunson's able to do and Randall. Like, what do you think's been the biggest like piece for us as a player this season?
That's tough. Like you said, it's been a roller coaster year. So I got, one thing I got to say, I say at every podcast, I cannot stand Mitch Robinson, man. I can't stand him. No, I can't stand him. I understand that, him coming back now as a team, like I was talking about the fist, making the fist stronger. He comes in, he makes the fist stronger. Yes, I get that. But just individually as what he brings to the game, he just doesn't do it for me. I just got to throw that out there. But, I'm setting it up from what I'm trying to say with the rest of the team. Like, say Brunson. I want to say Brunson brought the confidence here. As far as like Julius cleaning up his little go-to moves and spots where he can finish. Same thing with RJ. RJ has his move now. When he gets to the paint, he's gone away from it. But he actually did it last night. When he gets into the paint, slows down and just turns around and shoots it. Keeps it very simple. So I just think these little things, like even IQ, these little things I think that Brunson has added that to the roster. So I think, Brunson is single-handedly the most important thing. But just as far as like the energy shift now that we're not, we can comfortably start, talking about us not being in that mid-tier level now. I think just Josh Hart, coming here, just reminding not just the the team itself, but just the fans around us too, what it is to be a Knick. So I just think that's been lost in the sauce too. What does it mean to be a Knick? I think Josh Hart definitely brings that energy back. So I think that he's probably been like the most important, piece, right? Especially at the moment right now, just as far as, building this persona, this identity that we're building. I just think that's what it's all about with John.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
because
100%.
honestly, guys, I was talking to my dad this weekend, and that's the conversation we kind of had was he said, actually, it depends on what part of the season you want to look at. He said that's the best way to answer it. He's like, if you look at these 3 weeks, it's this guy. If you look at these 3 weeks, it's nobody, right? And that's where I kind of set too. Like, man, you got such a part of the fan base is like, it's all Julius, yeah, and you can't argue it, what Julius done. Then you got others like, nah, we would have never seen the Julius if we didn't get the Brunson, right? And then, but Hart now. So it's like, man, but isn't that a good problem to have though? Yeah. Like at this point in the season to be here and say like, yo, we've got multiple reasons why we're seeing success. Right. I personally am not going to sit here and put it on Thibodeau. But, I will give a little applause that we are seeing defense, and you got to give credit where credit's due. I'm still on the fire tips for a bit, right? But I appreciate you giving that take, you.
No. Yeah, I hit it right on the head. I want to give a quick shout out real quick. Blood of the Panthers in the building. He's like, salute to the squad. Apologize for being late. Was in the meeting. Listen, Blood, you don't got to apologize for being late, my guy. Happy that you're here, bro. And like he said, if you guys can, hit the like button for the boys. If you guys can while you're watching this. And if you're watching this and if you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button as well. And, everybody knows, but we're moving all of our content over from the Knights of Dejan channel over to the Morning Brew Sports. We got a full sponsorship with KOD Media, allows us to have extra shows on the channel. Shout out to Jay Boogie in the chat as well.
Right
Jay
Boogie.
Salute, 3 capital S's. Yeah, that's right on time, Jay Boogie, because we got something nice for you at the end of the day. He says, shout out to the chat, blessings, health, and happipiness on this beautiful Monday, or should I say the beatdown of the Celtic day.
Yeah,
and yes, the title is Point Guards. All right.
You. Well, listen, before we jump into the Jay Boogie track, so what we're gonna do is for you guys in the chat, let anybody in our fan base know we want to start doing artist highlights, right? We got so many people in the industry, so many in the fan base that are true hip-hop heads like Jay Boogie and all the guys that we've had on the show like Coach Dales and stuff. So submit your track. We'll put a little sound to it, and we want to be able to highlight Knicks fans' music on the show. So if you submit them, we will play them. We got Jay Boogie today with his new track, Point Gods. We're going to end the show with that. Before we do, let's jump into a little bit of predictions for tonight.
Yeah.
Because, we do got that Celtics game. I'm ready to do a watch-along just so I can watch the game with you fools. How we feeling, Phil?
So I think if we play with the momentum we had the other day, I think we come away with this one. Like I said, they are without Jaylen Brown for personal issues. So to me, all we really have to focus on is Smart and Tatum. And if we play the D that we played yesterday, it'll lock one of them down, and it'll just, I'm fine with one of them doing what they have to do and going off. As long as we can keep it to one player, I think that, we walk away with this as long as we have, a consistent defense. I'm not worried about our offense. Like I said, our offense is something that I continue to bank on. I know that some of our guys are going to show out, even if all of them don't. As long as we can keep that defense, I think we walk away with our third in a row tonight.
Same. I got the same thing. Can't say anything difference, right? The difference between the last game we played against the Celtics, they didn't have Marcus Smart, we didn't have Mitchell Robinson, but they have no Jaylen Brown tonight, right? So hopefully that's in our favor. We don't wish any injuries on anyone. He's handling a personal issue. Hope everything works out with Jaylen Brown. We don't wish anything bad on anyone, but we got to take advantage of this, because if the shoe was on the other foot and if Jalen Brunson or Julius Randle was out of this game because of personal reasons, the Boston Celtics wouldn't try to give us any type of charity. So you got to take advantage of this, play your game, be intense from the tip off to the end of the game, first minute to the last, and we'll be able to pull this out. And shout out to Jay Boogie with that great take right there.
Hold on. Blasphemy! Oh, sorry, I saw it in the chat. I just had
never that. But what about you, Eru? What's your keys for tonight, bro? What's your predictions?
Well, I think we can win. That's one thing. The most important thing for me is the 3-point line. This year, I think they embarrassed us this year once with the 3-point line, shooting a whole bunch of threes. The reason why the Celtics beat the 76ers the other day was because of Al Horford and these guys, man. I think Al Horford had 5 threes by himself. Somebody had 3. It's crazy, man. So that's one thing. We got to keep them off the line. If we can keep them off the line, I think we win this game. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is that one, guys, where the team already looks like they hype. I have a feeling we walk away with this one, they're going to have that chip on their shoulder where they're going to start really believing they can't be beat, and that's either a good thing or a scary thing. But I think we definitely take this one tonight. Or let me put it this way. I want us to take this one tonight, right? Yeah. I'm not scared of anybody, but I'm excited to see a challenge, and I'm excited to see us just pull it off the way we have been, man, because so I don't know if we talked about it. We're going to try to do a watch along tonight, possibly. We'll put it out on Twitter if anybody's down to jump in. We're going to do it in playback tonight and hang out, do some giveaways as well. So I'll let everybody know later on this afternoon. But Eru, man, before we bounce,
and you want to join us, Eru, if you got no plans tonight, you want to hop on. Ron, I see you in there. If you want to hop on, Foxy, anybody.
All you guys need, just so you know, whatever cable provider you need, all you got to do is enter your information, and you'll be able to watch it on playback. So whether you have Verizon or Cablevision or Optimum, I'm showing my age because I forgot the different cable companies. I know Optimum's not out there anymore. I know Bell Atlantic's not out there anymore. But whatever cable provider you guys have, all you got to do is enter the information. You'll be able to watch it. Eru as well, if you can, let the people know where they can find you. Also, let them know your social media, YouTube, Twitter, and stuff like that before we dip out.
Yeah, Die Hard Knicks, Die Knicks everything, man. Die Hard Knicks on Instagram, Die Hard Knicks PC on Twitter, Die Hard Knicks on YouTube. Also diehardknicks.com if you want some merch and that type of thing too, you know what I'm saying? So just Die Hard Knicks everywhere, man. I appreciate everybody's support and stuff. It's just fun to me. I've been doing like this number here. I've been doing audio from this point, 2018, and then the last 2 years or so, YouTube, whatever. So it's been a fun ride. I enjoy the Knicks, and I enjoy the community and everything, man. I appreciate being on this show. I'm a fan of you guys. You guys got something good going on here, man. So
appreciate that, Brody.
Appreciate that, Eru. And just keep putting out what you put out, man, because we're fans of it. And we say it and we mean it. It's open door policy. You wake up that morning, you're like, you know what? I got some shit to get off my chest this morning. I'm gonna pour me a coffee. Right over. I'm gonna hang out with these clowns anytime. Eru, the door's wide open, man.
I put Eru's channel in the chat for everybody, so you can guys check out Eru's channel. Make sure you subscribe to it as well. Shout out to also all the different content creators that we do follow. Shout out to Sims, Nothing But Nick. Shout out to our guys Ron and John, Uncle Freezy, Lawrence Tears, my guy Hardwill, and Lawrence with For the Love of the Game. That's why I started that over there with For the Love of the Game and Lawrence Tears. Philly Eilish, you got any last words you want to say before we dip out, bro?
Yeah, speaking of content creators, if you're into the Twitter space thing, our boy Eddie from the Smitty and Eddie show, he's constantly doing post-game, conversations. So head on in, support him. And also Wednesday at 1 p.m., right after our show, our family at the VSN Network asked me to be a part of the Battle of the Sexes, where it'll be just Knicks and NBA chat between some of the guys on Twitter that they rock with and some of the ladies that they rock with on Twitter. So it'll be kind of fun going back and forth, talking basketball with the gents and rocking with the ladies.
Listen, that's one Twitter space I'll join, but I won't talk, bro. Listen, you put me up in a battle of sexes, I'm scared. No, I'm good. That's all you. Phil, you represent us.
Yeah,
but this Wednesday too, we got Dylan Becker coming on the show to hang out with us. We've got a lineup this week. Appreciate everybody. Stay up to date with KOD Media. Follow us on Twitter. On top of that, the Schmitty and Eddie show does premiere this week. Hector's got the finger before we go with the J.
Yes, we got a few extra new people that was in the chat. I want to give a shout out to Francisco Carrillo, who was in the chat. Francisco, what it do? Appreciate you for the new sub. And also, I do not want to butcher your name. I cannot pronounce it. Shout out to you talking about European Euro basketball. I do not read that type of language. And also, J Boogie, our guy, Pots and Pans, Jiggaman, take us out.
Let's do this real quick. We're going to highlight our boy, J Boogie, with a little sample from his new track, Point Gods. On that note, appreciate everybody tuning in. Check out the track. We out.
Gentlemen, Jalen Brunson, welcome to New York.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, your dad was on the Knicks team that made the 99 finals. What would it mean to you to be part of a group that returns the franchise to that type of glory?
That mean a lot.
I gotta skip to my Lou. Don't it sound so beautiful? Yes. I'm on my Cardozo right here. Shout out to the greatest high school coach ever, Mr. Ron Niclario. That's him. This one here is for all the guards, the great guards from the city of New York. That's right. Ones that made it to the league, ones that didn't make it. I'm bringing back the point guards to the city where the legends are from. Right here in New York City. Right here. That playground, Rucker Park, New York City, where the handles are from. They come from New York City. That's right. Riverside Gauchos, sneakers making echoes. Skirt, skirt, sneakers making echoes. Oh no. We make music where we bouncing that ball. Don't be the one to get shook, slip down on the court and fall. Where I'm from, your ball handles had to be thorough. I show it off to boys and girls like the Wayne Pearl. The moves and odds from the crowd mean that boy sick. Really? I'm both-handed, go left, right like Rod Strickland. I don't care about your press traps, don't bother me. I'm coming to America like Greg the Boo Harvey. You know me, my talents be that. I put subs in that Volkswagen Jetta, pull off like Kenny Smith. To drive around park to park for that action. Mama, there go that.